I feel like I haven't streamed in forever. I don't even know what's happening. Are we here? Are we live? Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Oh no. I feel like boom. There we go. Look at us having comments on screen. Yes, George did wonderfully redirect here, which
Yay!
is fun. Well, if we get a bunch of new people, I'll have to tell them what we're doing, which is great because I feel like I don't even remember what we're doing. It's been a few weeks. We've had some fun, exciting things happening.
It's been 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. It feels much longer than 2 weeks.
Like,
But I
no,
think
it's
you're
been
right.
a 2-week break, so it's 3 weeks since the last. Is that how this? No, we did a stream the same week as Copy
Yeah.
Can.
So it's only been 2 weeks.
It's only been 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks in which we went from 2 people who had only seen each other on the internet to
Oh, wait. Is this reveal time?
if you want.
Boo!
Wow.
Photo credits for to Bib for catching
Well,
it.
yeah, it was. I never left my. I don't know if I can call it my country. I don't think I can, because Scotland isn't England, but the same nation state. I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this debate.
Yeah, fair. I crossed the pond just to meet Jake.
Yes, and some other people.
Yeah, and conveniently also got to go to KopiCon too. It just happened to be at the same time, you know? Definitely wasn't why I went over there, you know? Just happened to be a side happy consequence.
I still can't believe you've never come to London and you've been to the UK. It feels deeply offensive as someone from the Southeast.
Yeah. Well, I've never been anywhere in the UK other than Scotland, so.
Yes, that I know. It's I had never been to Scotland before KopiCon.
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
It happens.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Oh,
Hello peoples that are here that honestly I think can hear us given that they're chatting and responding to us.
oh wait, you've never been to London?
And they live in the
London
UK.
gets the attention it deserves. I am a London defender to the day I die. I was born in London. I was raised very partially in London. London is great.
At some point, I'll go.
I know the big cities aren't what you like, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's
I'm definitely
fine.
not a city goer.
Whereas I have to go in twice a week.
It's a rough life. It's a rough life. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to. I think that we were on sound changes last time.
I think that is what we were doing. Now because we're having to context switch now.
Do we want? Yeah. Do we want to switch topics? Yeah, or do we want to talk about the relay?
Ooh, we could have a brief.
I feel like if we talk about the relay now, we're gonna keep people. I feel like moving to sound changes is slightly terrible. Like, not terrible. Knowing our retention rate, so let's have a bit, but I don't have high hopes.
We'll ease people into it slowly. It'll be like a trap, like where you put like the crabs in the bucket when they're still alive and you start boiling them and then they don't like crawl out because it's slow, you know?
We just slowly introduce sound changes into the conversation.
Yes.
So, yeah, our torches were very different.
They were so different.
Were you before or after Simulanger?
Before.
Okay. So you were before all of the extra stuff got added?
No, I was the extra stuff being the metadata?
Yeah.
That was right before Bib. Yeah, so it was Simulanger, then Bib, then me, because I think...
Okay.
Yeah, because Bib didn't carry on the logo part of it. So yes, I had all the metadata, which was very fun to do. in my language, and that's where I introduced the weird number things for the address and the dates, which I got so wrong. I knew I did for the year, which like really cemented in my like, I don't have a concept of years, so I'm just gonna roll with it because I can't translate this year anyway.
Mm-hmm. I feel like numbers are always an interesting one in relays because no number bases and like the representation is very funny, like because you didn't get it, you got it romanized, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, did you have a favorite moment in what you, because I know you had to, like, I think we both had to miss little bits of the relay. Oh, I am also aware that like there's going to be the relay breakdown stream on Conlanging on Saturday, isn't there? Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's Saturday, isn't it?
I feel like I've heard about this and I didn't track it well enough because I've been running around like a crazy person. I need to actually look what it is. I have 2 kids' birthday parties on Saturday, so hopefully it's at a different time than those.
EBB, it wasn't a fairy tale. Like the story is I presented it. I wrote it so that these were all things that feasibly could happen in the world, which is why it became having to sail against the current, because before it was like you take the current or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Bib's saying, also, hi, Bib. They were apprehensive about including the numbers since numbers in Takvamir are pretty strange, which is true. I've never seen numbers in a conlang before because I am la enfant. And it was bad. It was bad. I think I sent you my translation doc, Bib. So if you look at where I tried to translate the numbers, it was not good. It was not good. Okay, normal streaming time. I think that might work for me. Because I think one of these birthday parties was an hour away. Who does that?
You're a reasonably early riser.
Yes.
I feel bad for David because there was one time when I think it was for the previous relay where David had got confused about what time it was and had gotten up on time if David were in Chicago time or whatever Conlang, like George is in. And but no, in David was in California as normal and so was late for it, despite getting up early with the stated purpose of
Oh no.
yeah,
Oh, no.
Central Time, that's it.
I will say the fact that there were so many shenanigans and things that like didn't go necessarily right with like the conlang thing, like all the weird stuff, it makes me feel a lot better. Because I was like, I don't know. It's nice to know that people who actually know what they're doing, unlike me, also make mistakes and do crazy things and, you know, makes my life easier, less stressful. If you didn't change the base and reverse the digits of the numbers, you're doing just fine. I can't promise I didn't do that. I got something really weird that was very much not the right year at all. So I don't know.
Do you want to know what Magpie is referring to?
Yes.
Okay. So there is in the very first Let's Have a Relay, I included a citation that was referring to like the person who told the story that I based my torch on. And there was also, Yeah, so the text ended with, the above text is based on a story by Charlotte Cote, 2022, of the New Channel community of, it was Teshat.
Okay.
And that then Miles turned it into, the words written above are a story from the ancestors of Charlotte Cote. It was told in 2022 in Seshanat, a village of the New Channel. But there was someone before that as well. But Arias had just included it as a number in like decimal with Arabic numerals, whereas Miles used his base 9 system, which then became in Magpie's entry. The words written are Salut Kote's ancestors' story. It is said that over 6,862 people of Sisanat live in Nechanat village.
Oh boy.
And we turned, it said that over 6,862 people of Sisanat live in the Nechanat village into a meme.
That's great.
It's not shame, Magpie. We just love the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, I
phrase
think
is iconic. I'll share a link to the thing. I think this will work.
yeah. Ooh.
Like Karis did an amazing job with presenting everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like my voice sounds so different today than normally does.
It's okay. It's okay. I feel like I don't know. I'm not jet lagged anymore, I think, probably, but I feel like I'm not 100% here either. And I feel like everyone's watched potentially hours of stream, so I feel like the expectations are low at this point. You know, they're just like in a catatonic state, just sitting there like, you know? So
The
I
people
feel
who are
like
still here, you clearly love Conlangs maybe too much. Like this is far too much Conlang content to be consuming on a single day.
yeah.
Like we started at 4, right? And now it's 8. So halfway through the stream, it will be the same amount of Conlang content as the entirety of CopyCon. But I think that CopyCon had such a big break that, like, I think that it was more like 2 hours of talks or something, wasn't it? So
It was 4 40 to 45-minute talks. So it was about 3 hours plus opening and closing remarks. So it was probably 3.5 hours if I had to guess.
I can say, because for people who missed CopyCon, there are now individual videos on the Langtime Studio account. And so I can see that my talk with questions was only 26.5 minutes.
Oh, was it that quick? Cool. Or maybe they just cut out a bunch. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think it was harder to tell how long things were because there were 3 of us that were like in a group, and Karis's ran for 46 minutes basically.
Okay. So that's pretty good. And I do highly recommend everyone watch all of them. Specifically, once our stream is over, you should then go and watch all of the CopyCon videos today, and then you'll have over like 8 hours of Conlanging content, which what else could you want, you know?
And then you can rewatch the 2 Let's Have a Booba relays and last year's Conlang YouTube Conlang.
Yes, I would recommend.
I do feel like this year's was there was a huge shift in the text, but it was a lot less confusing. Like last time, I was so disturbed by the child with hands that rip themselves apart and the talking river. I think because like David's misinterpretation of the Yatlau, which meant that every verb had like 5 nouns
Oh no.
associated with. Yeah.
Yeah, George said it. I'm so happy we didn't have violence emerge from nowhere.
No way.
Yes. There were definitely a few moments where I feel like people, like what was I can't remember which one it was, but someone was like, "I could interpret it like this, but I'm not going to." And I was like, "Yes. This is how we avoid that." It was good though. I'd actually watched through all those streams like twice because I'm like, "How do I do relay videos?" And I watched all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. The fun part of the relay is watching along and going, "Oh, oh no,"
Yeah,
repeatedly.
the stack gripping came to mind as well.
Yeah, that was every time I heard that, I was like, "Ooh, ooh."
Yeah. I kind of wish, I don't know, I don't think it's really our style at Let's Have a Boober to do a lot of information in very short space of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like maybe on Saturday I'll come with like some detail that I
Yeah.
can share if needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is it time?
To very gently start the light boil.
Mm-hmm. The the slow entry into
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I feel like there might be quite a few people who aren't usually here. So
Yeah, we should do like a brief intro, I think.
mhm.
Um, so let's see.
Oh, we're down to 13, 11. So
Good. We're slowly
good.
boiling them out.
They've been boiled out.
Oh yeah, if anyone hasn't seen this yet, if anyone popped in late,
I
the
I know
gorgeous.
that I'm quite tall and I'm quite big, but there are so many pictures from CopyCon where I feel like I look like a giant.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
and I managed to get onto Edgar's like G Plates stream on the
Mm.
Sunday, and Edgar's first reaction was like, "Oh, hey Jake, not seen you here before. You're so tall." It's not just David.
Mhm.
There's clearly like a gap. Actually, no, because we did take a picture with like a full height range,
Yeah, yeah.
but there is just like if it was me and Aaron and David and Jesse and Jonathan, you would have like a very clear like higher like stack of heights.
Yeah.
It works well for photos.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
um, is this one of the ones that Bib took?
Yeah, this is one that
Yeah,
Bib took when we were up in the castle, and I was, like, doing this and, like, being my vampire self and complaining about the sun, and you were like, "Oh, yes, I shall block the sun," and I was like, "Yay!"
yay, yeah.
It was
I'm
good.
like, there must be other pictures with us.
Yeah, there are definitely others. I'd have to go
Yeah.
through and find them, but I had downloaded this one to send it to you. Next week, we'll have more photos. We'll have a photo album to show you
Photo
all.
of the week, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
so
So, what we are doing is we are making a seedling for Pillar World.
I feel
Um,
like okay, seedlang isn't standard terminology.
mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I don't
Let
know
me
its terminology.
okay, so like seedlang isn't like a linguistics.
Oh, well, I
But
don't know.
to be clear for everyone who's like not usually here, the way that the story here is working is that we have like this 0 that you have here. It's a proto-lang, but like a standard proto-lang doesn't have there are added requirements. So like a proto language that I'm usually working with, there's enough cultural and like environmental continuity usually that like no, but like if I talk about an apple in the proto language, then I'm probably assuming that it's going to refer, like it could refer to an apple if I'm not going to say anything like in the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this one, it's like, well, there are people and tropical alpacas,
Yes.
and I don't remember what else is coming across.
There'll
And then
be maybe a few small things, maybe a few small plants, but that's mostly it.
yeah, and then they're being dropped into these islands that are like completely different to anything that they've experienced before, with
Yes.
an entirely new ecosystem, with what you would expect would be very fast societal change,
Mm.
um, which is gonna not necessarily, it doesn't require a huge linguistic restructuring, but it does mean that like culturally there is going to be like a rupture between the original one and the dropping one.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's I can't imagine how it would feel to be one of those original people who gets like magicked out of your world and
Yeah.
then like plopped onto this, like if you had like altitude, like other people, or like I know that you said that there was going to be like some mountains or something, right?
Yeah, on the in the previous world or in on the pillars?
In the previous world.
Yeah, like sort of, yeah, that's kind of my vibe is that it's like a large island area with like that's relatively mountainous so that they would have a lot of different elevations and have some
Mm-hmm.
animals and crops that they could bring over that would have some chance of surviving in this new climate and ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. No, Magpie, you're right. It is a proto-lang. It's. I think calling it a proto-lang is fine. It's that calling it a seed-lang is not necessarily obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's also
Really?
like seed culture and seed religion,
Mm.
and I tried to get Maddie to develop this, and Maddie was like, "No."
I'll do it some. I will. I'm percolating. I'm percolating because it's
Yeah.
very hard for me to like nail something like this down when I don't know what I want any of the final like cultures or stories to be really, but I've started percolating a little and we're gonna
I
I'm gonna
know,
make
I
some
know,
decisions.
I know. It's the stakes are higher for you than me.
Yeah. The
Uh,
question, wait, how are people getting plopped? So
mhm,
the concept here is that humans come from an Earth-like world that isn't specifically Earth, because ew, why would I want to do that? That's gross. And that world is dying because there's this like evil fog, whatever, I don't know, some sort of magical fog mist that murders them. And so then the gods of some undefined pantheon um take them and bring them to this new world, which is Pillar World, which is sort of a it was Earth-like up until the Triassic, and then it sort of had all these pillars spring up, which is how this world survived the fog. So like the lower, like lower kilometer essentially of the atmosphere. Well, not the atmosphere, but like just above sea level is filled with the fog, and then you have just these pillars that are like island size that are plopped up, and so each of these little like blobs is like clusters of pillars that are within reach via rideable dragons or other means of I don't know, transportation, like building bridges from silk and stuff for the closer ones. And so those people that were all taken from one area had this initial proto language, seed language, whatever, and then were placed in somewhere in each of these clusters that has a star. And then they sort of went out separately. And then my plan is to write stories in these individual places. And that was like, I think we're saying 10,000 years ago, roughly, was how long these people have been in Pillar World and have been rebuilding societies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, pretty much, Tinguish. And yes, a multiplanetary killing fog. Yeah, that's the idea.
The thing is, though, like, thinking that the text is from like the equivalent time period of when the Bible was written or something, like, or like this is like, I think counts as axial age in philosophy terms. Like the kind of cultural development, like, not to say that like the people before this point were like lesser in any kind of cultural way, but like you have very parallel modes of thought across like Eurasia at this period of time. I don't think the concept isn't like above any sort of criticism. It's basically just like a cherry picking of certain things that that happened at around the same time, possibly because of the Iron Age, I think. But yeah, you have like some interesting parallel shifts and things.
Yeah. So that's the vibe. That's what we're doing. And we are currently working on one of the sound changes sets for one of these. We haven't decided which one yet it is, right?
Which world? No.
It's just...
I do want to say I really want to work with you on whichever one gets used for the densely packed islands with the dragon hunting spiders.
Yes.
If the dragon hunting spiders are still going ahead, I just think that the dragon hunting spiders world is so cool.
It is very cool. And I mean, so yeah. Which one is that?
There's so much potential for like different clusters to have different like linguistic traits and things. Although, I mean, I always think of like the Amazonian examples, but it's not going to be very Amazonian because the Amazon is typified by having a huge diversity of language families in like very like, you have big language families but spread throughout the Amazon in pockets, so that you don't have like in Southeast Asia, for example, you also have like lots of clusters of small language families that they're all basically either Austroasiatic, Sino-Tibetan, or Thai Kadai, or Hmong-Mien, which is like four language families is quite a lot in Europe, but not a lot in other places.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out which one that is, because I think the only thing we have right now is C is the like That's my like clan-based one that sort of has some vibes and inspiration. That's the only one that I have like a story concept for, and that one's like semi-Scottish clan inspired, but a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be like in here, and then we'll have to decide where we're putting the really close together ones. I think the high density archipelago, I think I have it labeled in the maps right now, but
yeah, spider pillar.
Yeah. So we're doing the which one? We have
I've
this
been
one
calling it Italianate.
Yeah. Which can be one of these. We'll have to figure it out.
But the thing is, like, depending on like the cluster size and like population potential, like even if you put a language in one of these areas or even on a single island, there is absolutely nothing stopping people on a different settlement on the same tiny island from speaking a completely different the thing is, I would say completely different. Because of the nature of your story, it would have to be descended from like what would be basically like a radically different branch. So like yeah, so E and F would be daughters of the same yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Pretty much.
Okay.
It's gonna be crazy.
I feel like we have enough time now. And we never decided what Tlaloc was.
Yes. Tlaloc. Yes, the fog is still there.
Was there a particular mineral? I guess also we passed making the words for minerals now, so
that's true.
Or are we?
We could always make more, Jake. That's true. We don't have obsidian right now, I don't think. Ooh, that looks fancy. Okay,
no, we do. I think we
almost
ended up with 2 words at one point. I'm almost certain that you have a word for obsidian.
Yep. Pibarku.
Yeah. Pibarku.
Yeah, that one. Rocks. Now I know this is the Madeline Lang. Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun. So what do we want? Where am I?
Like, because I was gonna suggest like maybe it could mean like something like haggis or sausage or something. Like after in memory of Scotland.
Yes. Okay, we should. Also, we should come up with like the closest word to like Kopikon or something. I like the idea of sausage. I mean, I feel like that's something that would be a term in a process that would continue in some fashion.
We could literally have the root Kopikon.
Does that fit?
Yeah.
Woo! Sold. But what does Kopikon mean?
You can also like you can make it like, because in English we tend to aspirate stops more on stressed syllables, I think. So I think, is it Kopikon or it's not Kopikon.
No.
So I think it would be something like Kopikon.
Ooh.
Which looks, this is the stuff that you get when people are trying to make a language that sounds harsh, or because they would see this and say, oh, it's Kopikon.
Yeah.
But no, these are aspirated stops.
Yeah. Ooh, Nemo suggests feast. Do we have that?
I'm fairly sure that we won't have a word for feast yet.
No, I don't see one. But that could make sense given the intended first plan for KopiCon, right? Like, I feel like that fits pretty well.
Nulitis. Do you remember what the nulitis is?
I recognize that term, but I'm struggling to connect the little dots to the meaning.
I actually, I have here, let me make sure the video is all right. The LTS Nulitis sticker. It's the first cooking. See, I found this idea for the feast honestly a little bit. It's a funny one because you like there are basically there's two like competing logics for when you have feasts.
Mm-hmm.
So, like there's either the idea of we have a lot we have a lot of food, so we'll eat a lot, or we don't have a lot of food, so let's celebrate eating when we can. So like this first kind, you actually it's a funny example because I guess culturally it's kind of uncomfortable, but like Southern barbecue
Mm-hmm.
like emerges out of indigenous cooking styles, but like it was also like one of the times when it was popularized was during the tobacco harvests. Because when you harvested and prepared the tobacco, I think it produced a lot of suitable firewood or something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, like this was one of the most notable examples of regular slave and master like eating together, because basically like producing the fire from the what was effectively waste from the tobacco harvests was like when like the enslaved people and the masters would like cook and eat together, whereas all the other times and on other kinds of plantations, like the separation was more rigidly enforced.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been in a period of time where food would have been more abundant. Whereas when you think about this, you get like midwinter festivals.
Mm. Yeah.
Or winter solstice, or things of that nature, where you have a particular event and you mark it with a feast, and part of it is that marking it with the feast marks it out as different from all of the days when you have less food to eat.
Right. Okay.
Which is the opposite of like we have a lot of things to eat, so let's eat a lot.
Yeah.
And like the excess, the feasts in times of excess remind me more of societies that are small enough that they can basically like feed themselves reasonably all year round.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're like a um, like I think of the Pacific Northwest, so like traditionally the population was at a level where they had to eat different things in different times of the year. But there isn't, as I understand it, like big records of more difficult times for people to eat things compared to like in Eurasia. Not all of Eurasia, obviously, but like in areas with like 4 seasons in Eurasia, typically like agrarian societies struggle in the winters because simply the growing season is, you get further and further away from it, and there's very little that you can substitute with. So yeah. Whereas it's interesting on your pillar worlds because they have relatively more stable climates, right?
Yeah, they're all, for the most part, going to be pretty tropical and pretty near the equator. Like, they'll get away from that, but, like, it's all gonna be pretty consistent both with how, like, the climate patterns are gonna work without having the large land masses and with where they are distance-wise from the equator. So, yeah, it should be pretty consistent year-round. Obviously, we'll have some colder areas, but they'll probably be pretty consistent. A lot of maritime effect to mildify things. So I think the top one is probably would be more common.
Well, it means that you wouldn't, because you don't have the huge land masses which pull the, like, we'd also said that like we don't have monsoons or anything really because there aren't large enough land masses to pull. Like, is it ICTZ into like the high pressure? It's high pressure band, right?
Oh, the ITCZ. Okay, yes. Yes. I heard just the TZ part and I'm like, TZ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I got the C and the T the wrong way around, and then I threw the Z in to confuse you.
Yeah. ITCZ is low pressure, I believe.
Low pressure,
but
okay.
It'll be moving, but then we'll have like some of them will be close to high pressure.
It is moving now?
Well, it's not moving. I mean, like just with the it spins, like it'll move a few degrees, but
Okay.
like any of them that aren't directly on the equator, it won't move enough to be noticeable. So like for C, it'll move like this, if you can see that. That's about it. That's what we'll get. So this will all be constant, and then is this 30? This is where you'll get that high band, which will probably not fluctuate at all, really.
Because like it means that you're not gonna have like seasons, right? So
I mean, you'll have a little bit, right? Like, because it is, again, like the Earth's still like tilted, right? So you still get like that very slight deviation there, but it won't be significant. I mean, it'll be like anywhere on Earth, like it'll be like anywhere on Earth that's in that sort of latitudinal range that's like relatively out in the middle of nowhere, like islands would probably be pretty consistent. Yes, the pillars are on a globe.
Like Fiji. Like Fiji has it has a summer and a winter. But like so yeah, you have a period with, but I don't know how the storms would work because I guess like a hurricane, I think of them as being like at sea level, but obviously they go like all the way up. So that's gonna be terrifying.
Well, so we talked about that a bit. I can't remember where and I can't remember when, but especially any of these. So like C will have to deal with this a decent bit, and some of the other ones. Like it'll be less prevalent up higher because they won't necessarily be ripped around as much. But you'll still have that. And I think the stabilizing magic of the pillars, because we had calculated like how bad the storms would be. And in order to keep it from just like wiping out the pillars, like in this range from like horrible like hurricanes or whatever you want to call them, right?
Mm.
We are assuming there's some level of mild protection, like just reduces it slightly in kind of like a dome around the pillar, just because we have to keep erosion from being too psycho bananas, because that would have just wiped everything off realistically if there wasn't a magical effect, and that's also going to keep what?
Is the technical term the psycho bananas erosion?
Yes, technical terms, obviously. So that's going to have to diminish the wind speeds, because we had calculated it out what it would be, because like the winds are naturally going to be a lot quicker or a lot faster at this altitude, because they're like the winds aren't necessarily going like, you don't have that like nice gradual climb, like you're just getting the winds at that altitude, especially on the edges. So it's without any sort of magical interference, it would be very problematic, but like it'll still influence all of like their building structures, where they place things on the pillars. Like we started playing around with that, like where they would put certain types of buildings, how they would do stuff like that.
I really enjoyed World Building Notes world, where they had like magical wind stopping on the really tall poles, and so like there's like an active element of the humans involved in like breaking. I don't think we usually say breaking wind in the UK to mean farting. For us, like a windbreaker is like, do you have windbreakers in the US as well? Like the big,
we don't
like,
call them that usually.
Like the big sheets that you can put up at the beach to stop the wind hitting you.
We have umbrellas for the sun.
No, it's not that. It's like a big plastic sheet with poles.
I've never seen one of those, at least on the beaches I've been to.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. A windbreaker for us is like a thin coat. I'm trying to think of like the right name. Because there's a windbreak, but then that's also the planting. Anyway, we have a whole load of things.
George.
Anyway, this is where I'm just like, I had to figure out what words actually meant. Windbreak, okay. I'm like, because I know that there's the one with an ER existed. My brain's just like, yeah, they're the same thing. But yeah, anyway, like I'm imagining like those, and then like the rain could be like collected.
Yeah, because they're gonna have a lot of that, because they won't have large like drainage basins and stuff to just have these large like rivers and large water sources like that. So they're gonna have to catch it and store it.
So like the hurricane season could actually become like the main like planting season or something. So they have like an excess of water to do stuff with.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I need to do more modeling on, because I think they were like, even, well, it depends on which like pillar and how tall they are, but like a lot of them are going to be like very, very wet all the time. And they probably won't have any issue, but like the ones that are in like slightly more like closer to our 30-degree band up here, these ones might need to have more of that kind of an effect.
So
that makes me think, though, for our seedling culture, if they did already have the fog that was starting to come there, that actually, like, I could probably put together a bit of a culture around that fairly easily if they're like this island that's dealing with this like encroaching fog that's about to kill them all. Like, I feel like that, yeah.
But the question, like, I know that the fog is the same, but would the things that stop the fog in the original world be the same in the new world, or would they? I guess they'd have to find equivalents anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
they would know what they need, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, like the because the structures would have to be very different as well, wouldn't they?
Mhm. Yeah, but if they're on a tropical island, they're probably familiar with, like, tropical storms and, like, semi-comparable things. It would just be, like, the scale would be a little different, you know?
Well, I've been dealing with a similar issue with the world building for the Let's Have a Booba languages because we only really wanted to deal with a single continent, and then
Mm.
talking to Will, and Will's like, "Well, I have to know what's going on in the entire rest of the globe to know what's happening," and I'm just like, "Well, what if it's just this?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, that means that the winds are going to be so strong that like there's no way anyone would ever survive them,
Yeah.
especially on the small islands." um,
This is where I get
yeah,
my nice magical hand wavy bit with how my pillars exist. It's part of the pillar magic.
yeah. I was just like trying to work out how much more landmass we'd have to add, and also like how it would work with like the plate modeling and stuff. It just
Yeah.
um, the best thing that I have in my mind is that like because this is like the very end of like the first bits forming the new Pangea basically.
Mhm.
There's just going to be these like huge continental chunks that are like moving towards this other side of the planet or whatever. But
Right.
like I just like especially because it's not just for me, it's also with Miles. I don't want to like draw this stuff up and then Miles is like, actually no, I hate that. Like
Yeah.
anyway, I want to talk about stress.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I haven't finished going through Jesse's presentation. Okay. It'll be okay. We can talk about
It
it.
will be fine. The problem that I'm having, and I should have looked this up earlier. Um, but basically, where is this? Is it under vowels? Um, so um, there are effective like Italian stress patterns are for the most part, I think, predictable. So basically, like you can generally like for example, in Polish, you never have to write stress on the word because stress is regularly on the penultimate syllable.
Mm.
Um, there's some funny stuff that happens with monosyllabic words, but for the most part, you kind of know where things stand. Um, with Spanish, you know that like they have a regular pattern, and then you can write on the word if the stress is in a different place.
Mm.
So that's why, like, you have to write the accent on fácil because it's usually if a word ends in L, the stress is on the last syllable, but you have to write that it's on the penultimate one. Fácil.
Mm.
Um, Italian, I I do not speak Italian. I have started doing a little bit on Duolingo because I might be going next year.
Ooh.
Uh, yeah, for someone's wedding. So this I'm gonna be in like deep Italy, not like a Roman tourist area,
Mm. Mhm.
which worries me a bit. And also,
Mm.
without going too much into it, I feel like Americans have a really romantic view of Italy, whereas not that British people don't romanticize Italy, but I think we're also much more acutely aware of the Euro crisis.
Yes.
And so we go and we're like, oh my god, these poor people, like they've had like terrible government economic control. Whereas like I get the impression that like for like I think it's more Italian Americans, it's like a homecoming to the motherland.
Yeah.
Whereas for us Northern Europeans, we're like, oh, these poor Southern Europeans with their
Yeah.
beautiful architecture and their amazing history. Like, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I went
Uh,
there in 2009, 2010 when they
mm,
were having like really huge like a little bit of rioting, but like a lot of like striking everywhere. So like a lot of things just weren't happening. And
mm,
it was a bit rough, especially because we were just a bunch of like teenagers kind of set loose in Italy, and it was eye-opening.
yeah.
Italians get very annoyed with us Italian Americans.
I feel quite lucky because Americans with English heritage tend not to identify as English if they don't have like a recent English relative.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's true that like Irish Americans, Italian Americans, it's more recent ancestry generally than
Mm.
like the German or the British, or not British, because people love to say they're Scottish.
I know. I'm like
But
4.6% Scottish. Hello.
yeah, where's my family tartan?
Yeah.
Whereas yeah, the wasps tend to see themselves as like uh, a generic American.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't have people coming to the UK and being like, "Oh, these are my people." Like,
Yeah.
um, I have not met an American who is like very intent on saying that they were English.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
um,
I don't know if I do either. Like, I don't know if I've heard that. I don't know if it's part of the American, like, the English vibe, you know what I mean? The freedom, you know?
oh, Nemo, I'm so sorry, but there are too many people who proclaim to be English. I do proclaim to be English because I can't claim anything else. Really.
Yeah. I do think it is sad, I don't know, not having I don't know. I mean, you've seen my, like, my weird genealogy thing, like, we're
It's
all
not
I guess
even
we're all
that weird though, is it? It's
No.
like it's not like the surprising. I feel like surprising DNA tests don't exist anymore because I've seen too many videos.
Mm.
Like
Well, I discovered some very interesting things when I did mine. I discovered a whole side of my family I didn't know about. I finally found who my grandfather was and all like it's a story. So, I mean, that was pretty surprising.
hmm,
Like 20 aunts and uncles I didn't even know about.
mhm. But it's also like in the UK, we like I think it probably affects Scotland more so, but like are you aware of the recent phenomenon on TikTok of effectively Americans finding out that there were black people in Scotland? And then there was like this Kabbalah cult thing that was just like two black people camping in a forest in Scotland, and then people watching videos that they made of them like enacting their Kubala heritage, where it was basically them imitating a click language. Um, on TikTok, and then they got arrested.
Oh my God.
And then like basically every like non-internet celebrity like Black Scot came out and was like, we're just like descendants usually of Caribbean or African people who happened to move to Scotland. And yeah, it was very funny because we were like, where did you think that Black British people came from?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
Because like the diaspora wars are very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream.
Are you aware of the Jollof Wars?
No. I'm very like I am very out of touch with like everything.
Okay. The Jollof Wars are basically this big cultural debate that tends to happen more so in diaspora than I think in their home countries about whether Ghanaian jollof, like, do you know what jollof is, right? Like, okay, jollof is like this rice dish that's cooked in a sauce of, I'm like trying to be as generic as possible, of like processed, I'm gonna say vegetables, but really they're fruits because it's tomatoes and usually chili
Okay.
in varying amounts. And then they're like seasoned, and then you like cook the rice. And in Nigeria, you usually let it like cook to a point where it starts to smoke.
Mhm.
So like party jollof tends to be very smoky. Um, and like there's enough differences between how they make jollof in Ghana and Nigeria that like the jollof was, I think they've calmed down a lot now. But if someone was on the internet making jollof and they were doing it one country's way, they would demand that the other country's way was better. And yeah, I seen the jollof wars play out in my university campus.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, and I grew up eating jollof in my school canteen
Yeah.
because we the person in charge of our school dinners was West African. I actually don't know whether she was Ghanaian or Nigerian or from a different part of West Africa, but anyway. So yeah, we grew up eating jollof as well.
Yeah.
So after that tangent, I feel like people can probably tell that like we've consumed so much content.
I know this is a very chatty conlanging stream.
To be fair, Let's Have a Booba is also reasonably chatty. And
Fair.
I'm also just I'm kind of worried about like how to broach the stress subject with you because it feels hard.
Okay.
um so Italian stress tends to have um like it looks like a single main stress, um but I'm not seeing things defined very well because um my impression when you hear it is that it has like multiple stresses basically,
Mhm.
uh, although I know that that's not actually true. Like so do you know how to say this in English first of all?
Tiramisu?
Hmm. I'm now like trying to listen to your own stress patterns and then telling you that I'm listening to it. It's
Tiramisu?
gonna affect. So, uh, is this gonna? No, I have to do that. So in Italian, it's written like this.
Okay.
And so it's tiramisu.
Okay.
I think. And now I'm gonna like double check my working and check that like there's only one stress. No, there's two stresses. I was right. There's two stresses.
Okay.
So it's this. So you never learned this in the IPA, so I guess I can teach you that today as well.
Yeah. I'm like, it's not the little like carrot dudes.
Let's make this like a lot bigger. Okay.
Whoa.
So wait, I'm like how big is this gonna okay, here we go. So also I'm curious if I put this into sure, okay. So syllables in IPA tend to be you if you're breaking them up, you break them up with full stops / periods. Okay. So you have 4 syllables, tiramisu.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why I started clapping, but I feel like that was how I was taught to identify syllables.
Yeah, and like preschool or wherever, yeah. Or it would have been like 1st or 2nd grade, right? I don't know when we learned that.
And then like this one marks main stress. So you could imagine like so if this was a word by itself, which would be like this, then you could have in theory, like if you have a language with contrastive stress, why can't I do that? Okay. So you could have a word misu and you could have a word misu.
Yeah. Okay.
And Spanish works like that, you know? Like you can have a difference between fabrica and fabrica. Fabrica and fabrica. And in dialect, you could also have fabrica, which would be short for fabricala. I don't know if dialect is the best way to refer to that because I feel like it's quite a it sounds like how people refer to it in French or Italian. Like this kind of shortening happens in like quite a lot of places. But it means that you can basically imply that usually the stress in Spanish is on this syllable, right?
Okay.
And then, but you can also have the stress here. You can have the stress here. It's all like open and fun.
Okay.
However, for this language and for the proto language, we have to decide how stress works.
Right.
But we don't actually have to is maybe too strong. I don't want us to have to teach you how to use tone in your first few conlangs of the diachronic method because tone.
I will say the tones, like in isolation, at least from the like the Conlang class time things we did, the tone part made way more sense to me than literally anything else in the IPA. I can't say anything about me pronouncing things, which we have established today is garbage, but
I think the tone part is the way it looks is fine. The confusing part is how you get there and how it works. Because I'm gonna say like the big thing that the big thing that like Agma was referring to in the relay about like the grammar and stuff, which I'm trying to find the torch that I sent. Da, da, da. This one, no. Anyway, basically, like, the set is one form of the. I think it was like the first person, or it might have been third person. But Agma kept looking for it with an accent, and the accent was because of tone moving around the word. And so this happened before with I think that everyone who's seen tone in a language that Let's Have a Booba has done hasn't been super confident looking for the like I don't know how you express to someone that like the tone that they're seeing is the surface form of the word, because that's what you represent in your romanization, and that underneath there is like a single noun with a tone pattern that is just being applied, you know.
Yeah.
I think like a language like if you made a language that worked like Mandarin or Vietnamese, where in practice you write, if you're gonna write it in like Vietnamese, you don't write any of the non-lexicalized tone changes. So if you have like if you have a reduplicated word in Vietnamese, then the tone on the second syllable will sometimes be different from the tone on the first one because of the standard Sandy pattern. Sandy, Sandhi.
I do know that term.
Yay! But like trying to represent a language with floating tones in a way that people understand what's going on is hard.
Yeah. Well, and also like I have to think about, because I know we're saying we don't need to worry about this right now, right? But like at the end of the day, the end result of these languages are going to be portrayed in small amounts at a time in various books, like written books mainly, which like they could be in audiobooks potentially too, relatively limited. Yeah, so like how we'd portray that, which I'm not saying we shouldn't do. I feel like we should do at least one somewhere in there, just for the sake of like we're doing lots of things, the kind of, you know, don't make us do auto segmental stuff yet. He was just saying the tone
that's where you have this idea that the tone is on a level that is different to the level of the words themselves, or rather the consonants and vowels.
So we could do, the tonogenesis from starting with stress and the proto, is that what you were kind of trying to figure out if we'd want to do here with this, like with deciding the stress? And like, no, it was just a side note. Right. For other things.
I'm trying to like encapsulate the spirit of Italian stress.
Okay. Yes.
So it's kind of hard because like tiramisu, like you can see from this that the U is marked with the grave accent, which indicates the stress is here. Which then to me implies that the stress here not being marked, I know it's secondary, but like for me, the implication is that this is the normal structure. And do you know what a foot is?
I could show you my foot, but like I feel like that gets weird on the internet. I don't know.
That gets very weird very fast. A metric foot is a kind of unit of I'm gonna say speech, but I don't think speech is the right word. I'm like looking in the comments for someone to help me out.
Feet. We need feet in the comments.
It's just gonna sound funnier.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna go to Wikipedia and trust that they're not gonna lead me wrong.
I mean, everything on Wikipedia is obviously correct.
I think I'm barking up the wrong tree.
Ooh, we got a foot emoji.
It is about poetry, whereas although I swear that stress is often described as footed. Yeah, timing, metrical foot, stress. I'm like, I don't want prosthetic stress. I'm really trying to like work out how best to like describe this to you. Meter? I don't know. They use the same terminology. Okay. So if we take a word like copycon, you get. I'm just gonna like open that document that Jesse gave us, and trust in it because I think it's really throwing me off. I like if I'm talking about tone, I genuinely I feel like I understand what's going on. Otherwise, I'm like, do not know. Okay. So I didn't tell you about the two. I'm seeing these referred to in Jesse's document as uptick and downtick. I didn't tell you about these, did I?
No. Yeah, you did. One was the main stress and one was the secondary stress. You
okay, good. I did a better job than I thought I did. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jesse uses like examples that are more complicated, and I don't know. I'm also like really trying to like understand what's okay, so the stream's gonna go into even weirder territory. So are you prepared to talk about edging on stream?
We're an hour and 19 minutes in. I feel like nothing's scraping this far into the video. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so you can have right edge stress. I know. I think it's right edge feet, and
Okay.
then left edge feet, and then on top of that, you have right oriented. So and left oriented.
Okay.
So the edge is basically us talking about where the start of the stress assignment process begins.
Okay.
So with our word kopikon, or let's find one that's like nabagu, nabagu. Oh, and you made some four-syllabic quadrisyllabic? Like,
Yeah, we've got.
hail ignabagu.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, right edge basically means that the start of it is on the right part of the word. So this side, right?
Mm.
And it means that you look at your set of 2 syllables usually, and you can see that like you have these are patterned in the same way.
Mm.
And then you have another foot here, potentially, right?
Yeah.
So you can see that like ko, pi, kon, na, bagu, igna, bagu,
Yeah.
right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas left edge, you start on this side. So kopi, naba. Although I think I'm mixing 2 things up, so that's exciting. And I'm ready for someone. And no, comments are very quiet on this. I feel like I'm like doing my worst explanation possible of this.
I feel like it's working for me, and I did Google it, and like as awful as AI overview is, and I normally don't like reading them, it's semi helpful for this.
The thing is that like this stuff applies for languages that are very well described. If I was trying to explain the like the tone accent system of a language that has only got one grammar written about it, then people in general will. I mean, it might mean that you don't get a lot of like misdirection, but like at the same time, I don't know, like I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, this makes sense to me.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm looking at the word boundaries. And okay. So like the different this the right oriented and left oriented, I get the impression that like the edge, I think I need to just like paste them again. So in Jesse's examples, for the top two terms, there isn't like a so this would be the complete word, and this isn't correct notation, which I feel like I should maybe be using. But anyway, no, I'm going to use Spanish-ish notation. So basically, you would say that like you have see, to me, this feels like a left-edged foot because you have this one here, which is like alone. And this one here, which is attracting the stress. I guess it's that like, I guess this is the difference with oriented, is that you know that like the last syllable of the word is never going to get any stress.
Okay.
And then you say you have your foot, and you say it's the first syllable in the foot that takes stress. So it would be kopikon, nabagu, ignabagu. But I feel like that doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
And if I'm like ignabagu, that does sound Italian to me.
Yeah, like that, like yeah. I would agree. That sounds more Italian.
But I think it's also just the way I'm saying it, because if I was like nabagu, I think that sounds. So I think that what I'm doing is I'm increasing the length for sure, which I think could be an interesting feature. So stress equals longer vowel, because the thing with stress is that like when you have like a tonal language,
right,
for the most part, it's not always true, then you're dealing with like a like to a point like a single like feature, which is like this tone, or like I think it's F0 most of the time. You don't need to worry about that stuff, but anyway.
Okay.
Like this is stand-in for most of tone. Whereas stress actually manifests itself differently in a lot of different languages. So like you have loudness, length, pitch itself. I'm trying to think of other features of stress. Vowels can be like unstressed vowels tend to be more central, whereas which would mean stressed vowels are thus relatively more polar. Is polar the right word? More.
I would just say less central because I don't know any other terminology.
Yeah.
Magpie is saying, my understanding is that metrical stress is basically 1, divide syllables into pairs starting from either the left or right. Then 2, pick whether the first or second syllable in pairs is more stressed, but they are not super knowledgeable. This does remind me, though, of the, I tried to write a trochaic tetrameter. It makes me think of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like this PowerPoint is just confusing me more. No offense to Jessie because I'm not using it the way she intended. But basically, like, oh, you don't have your copy of Jessie's book.
I should get it tomorrow.
I have mine.
It was supposed to come today, and then it was like, psych, tomorrow. And I was hoping I could pull it out, and you could be like, all right, Maddie, please turn to page 27.
Uh-huh. Okay. So they have like examples on here. The thing is, like, I feel like once you know what kind of structure you want, you can get something that works. So like they're using this word powataki. So like they've got A and they have powataki, 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 powataki. And they again realizing that I've gone through all 8 different versions, and I feel like because the word doesn't sound Italian, like
Yeah.
if I really wanted to put the accent on, I could be like powataki, 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 powataki. No, it just doesn't. The key, there are keys in Italian, but like you'd expect like a povataci, povataci, or I don't know. I feel like I'm generalizing the language too much, but anyway.
I feel like having I don't know if I'm making this up because I don't know what I'm talking about. So you could just be like, no, Maddie.
No,
It sort of sounds
say your thing first, and then
okay.
I can judge you.
It sort of sounds to me like the ones that like sound very Italian, like thinking through the Italian words is having that like the alternating stresses, right? But where it falls at the end, so like the last syllable is never stressed, but then it's alternated from there. Like I feel like that sounds very like I don't know.
You know the example I gave of tiramisu is stressed.
Yes.
I guess
I know
tiramisu
that. I know you said that, but
it doesn't sound. It does sound different, like tiramisu.
maybe
I
I'm
think
crazy.
tiramisu is what you might expect.
Yeah.
So I think that what that means is so that's fine for the 4-syllable ones.
Mm.
So that would mean all of these silly words that don't come up in all the tonal languages that I actually know what's going on with. So the trochee is first syllable stressed, and an I am is the second syllable is stressed.
Okay.
So we want
yeah, to take an iambic. Yeah. Okay.
trochaic feet
Mhm.
and
Ooh, can I do?
so the question for the 3 syllables is so we're done with ignabagu.
Mhm.
Is ignabagu is always going to be ignabagu, basically.
Okay.
For 3 syllables, you have like you can start counting at the beginning. That basically means that like you'd end up with, for a trisyllabic word, and you also now know that like in a disyllabic word, the secondary stress, no, not secondary, penultimate, because it will form a like valor. And the other thing is that remember that we are going to have to change. We can change this a bit in the other languages, so that they get different stress patterns as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So valor will be stressed initially. I think whatever way you cut the. I'd forgotten. Yeah, like so the trochees are initial. So let's go with Kopiko just without worrying about the aspiration.
Yeah.
Although I'm worried that it's gonna like affect you in how you pronounce it because you're used to the one pronunciation.
Yeah.
So right edge feet. So we count from here. Left edge feet. We count from here. Then you have this like the oriented versus edge. Oh, this is okay. So the edged feet. It sounds so terrible. The edge feet will be here basically.
Yeah.
And then left edge there. And then if we copy this and put right oriented yeah.
Can I put that?
What?
Can I put dots?
Can I put that?
Can I put dots? The periods.
Oh, I thought you were saying a word. I was like, is this a test word? Like kaput da?
No. Dots.
Kaput da? No. Yeah.
Okay.
I should have swapped things because that one would go there, and then this would move to here.
Okay.
So these are like and then so trochees. We stress the first one in each bracket, and iams we stress the last one in each bracket.
Okay. And you never stress the single ones in any of these?
In this system, no.
Okay. So there really isn't any difference in where the stresses end up between like a right edge foot and a left oriented foot here.
We don't want one of the ones that has final stress.
Right.
So it rules out these two from the iambic. In this system, the final syllable will never be stressed, basically.
Right. If we want that.
Yeah.
I'm not set on it, but
so you have like copico, 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 and then copico, copico. But we'd already said no to iambic, so all of these will be read, basically. Because you like these two.
I think so.
So I don't know how common left edge stuff is. Because I know like of enough languages with initial stress, which is basically like kind of extreme left edge. Like you take the very first syllable and you put stress on it, which is like finish. And then all the other stuff I'm most familiar with is right oriented. So like I know that like old Latin was initially stressed and then it became right oriented with time.
Okay.
But Latin has like this very like the system still seemed really complicated to me. Like it's basically like if the anti-penultimate syllable is heavy, the stress moves to it, but otherwise it's penultimate, I think.
Okay.
And like so at the moment, all of your vowels are the same length, basically. We don't have long vowels. But what we do have are like the liquids. So you can have a vowel R or a vowel L. Now, I think that we're keeping these in this language, so maybe not something to worry about right now. But in another language, you could have these both become long vowels.
Okay.
This, I think, especially like if you had an intermediate stage where L became W, and then you could have some vowel quality stuff happen. But basically, then you could have maybe some interesting changes in the stress pattern where like if we look at what we have already, if we want to, so for me, I think this would be my winner.
Yeah. That works for me.
So you never stress the last syllable, and you will get like, I think in right oriented feet, if you have a disyllabic word, then like this is where like the PowerPoint actually will be helpful.
Okay.
So right oriented, anti-penultimate stress, yeah. Do we want secondary stress? Yes. That means that if we have a 5-syllable word, which we may well end up doing, you would have stress on both feet, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if I understand this correctly.
Yeah. Penultimate is a lot more common than second syllable. Is it? Really?
So is this what the difference would be if you had 4 syllables? That.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
So, kokopico. But then it would be like pico picoco would be like the if you had like 5 syllables.
Okay. I'm following. I'm on track. Cool.
Which means that like this doesn't actually come out as ignabagu. It becomes out as ignabagu.
Yeah.
Which you like?
It's not super Italian, but I don't hate it. I'm not sure which one of these, like, I don't know.
I mean, if you wanted this, you would go with this one, I think.
Which is apparently weird.
Like, I just don't know that many examples of it.
Yeah. Well, let's.
Well, you would go with no. It'd be one of you go with an edge fit because in the edge fit system, you basically don't leave a gap at the with your thing. Okay, so it's 14A on walls. My mum was reading Jesse's book the other day, and like it was quite funny seeing I feel like this isn't saying what you said, Tinglish. Oh, penultimate is a lot more common than second syllable. No, I fully agree. I think that I had misunderstood what was. You mean penultimate is a lot more common than like. Yeah, no, calling it second syllable makes a lot of sense. I don't know where my brain went. The other thing that you could do would be to have contrastive stress in the proto language.
Contrastive. So different stress, or
so this basically like this with this system, as it stands, you would be able to tell where words were stressed without having to look it up ever, you know?
I do like that. That is A+ for me.
If we had contrastive stress, it would mean that for every word you've already made, you would indicate on, like, take sky, for example, gere. At the moment, we could allow for, in a disyllabic word, the foot covers the whole word, and so it's standardly gere. If you were doing contrastive stress, then it would basically say, well, you could either have gere or you could have gere. And then we'd have to decide when you did the compound gerati, certainly that wouldn't suggest that the stress was gere, because you would then lose the stressed vowel in gerati, unless the walking is so stressed on the lexic, like as part of the compound, that we ignore the stress on the preceding word.
Okay.
Same with, like, so chapo here could either be chapo or chapo. The thing is, like, the final stress to me really doesn't sound very Italian.
Yeah. What about, as I scroll ridiculously, what if we did the iambic left edge foot?
Iambic left edge. So that would mean that if you had a like a quadrisyllabic word, like, I'm just gonna do like a keyboard spam. So calavanza, which is very close to calabasa, which is what I'm gonna do. You know what calabasa means, right?
Yeah.
It's Spanish for with a C, although I think with the K it's a Tagalog word. Yeah. So it means like squash.
I like it.
So so in this system, you would end up with calabasa.
Okay.
Which has the final stress that you didn't like.
Well, it was just a random thing I said. I don't know. Don't hold me to myself.
And like on this one, it would be calabasa. Or would it? No, it wouldn't. No. Let's do this properly. So right is here. Oh, no. And then we put the foot in here to be calabasa.
Yeah, I feel like now that we're seeing the long ones, I'm like less hyped over here. Less hyped.
Okay.
What about here?
So you like the final stress now?
Maybe.
Do you want to do calabasa in all of these?
Let's do it.
Although it feels like so with this one, the pattern is the same, but it would be there. Yeah. So calabasa, which is like in Spanish.
Yeah. I feel like I don't like that either. I don't like that. I don't think I like the ones that end up with the single. Like, I like the idea, I don't know.
So you want one of the edge ones then?
I think so. I think so.
Even so if we ignore that then, so if you don't want final, then you would want one of these. So this would be calabasa, I think. Yeah. And this would be yeah. So for even numbers, these ones come out the same.
Mm.
And so this would also be calabasa.
Mm.
But then if you make it like a calabasako, then it would become calabasako here, and and like calabasako. So ko, and then this is outside. This is a broken fit, so I don't think it takes stress in this system. So it'd be calabasako, which I think does not sound very Italian.
I don't like that one. No.
Calabasako.
I do like that.
And then
Okay.
So this one would be calabasako. So the left edge, I do think, is getting you the stress towards the start of the word. Yeah. Yeah, Calabasas. Wait, is that from is it like historically a pumpkin field?
What?
Yeah. Calabasas, the city in Los Angeles, is named after squash. So you can actually see what the effect of the stress difference is, right? So
Yeah.
in English we saying Calabasas, whereas in Spanish it'd be calabasa.
Mm-hmm. I do think I lean over here. I think, although we haven't done this one.
The thing is, I feel like we can also we can apply it to applying it to words that are in the language, and this is where me telling you, so crece, naba, pajo, unajo. That would be right edge Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, because the thing is the reality is that to me at least, all of these systems sound relatively similar. You while you're using nonsense words or words that are just examples, you don't really, you can hear the difference between them, but you'd have to there's a lot more that makes Italian sound Italian. And so like and also you can always, if you don't end up not liking it so much, you can always add rules that like make it so that it sounds better. Like
Yeah.
if you would prefer it, that the problem with using a thing like a heavy syllable in this language is that because of the structure, there isn't like a good you'd end up with like maybe heavy versus super heavy, which is just going to be a really big pain to code.
Yeah.
Because you could have um like Kalaba, and then you're like, well, what if it's Karlaba, Kar- or Kabarla, and then Kabalar, and then it's like you can add like a Katbala, Kabatla, and Kabalat, and then you could have Kartbala, Kabartla, and Kabalar.
Right.
And that even just with like a very small like there's potential for like very complicated proto words.
Right.
Like irplar. Like
Yeah.
like where do you want irplar to fall?
Okay.
So yeah, it's and also we're gonna end up like, for example, we're going to we were thinking of having a final vowel based like case marking, for example, right? Which is usually not stressed. So if you decide that you really like how Naba sounds with stress here, and then I don't know how we'd probably like throw in a consonant, an optional one. Then it would be like, well, now it's Nabala, for example, or it becomes Nabala, depending on like whether it's like starting there or there. And then like, so the actual stress pattern of your words could change quite quickly.
Based off that. Okay.
Right.
So
So
I feel
something for you to like mull over.
okay. Should that be
And
the thing I decide? Because we're at like roughly time, right? Is this the thing that I should decide right now and that's the end of the stream, or should I make a decision and reveal it next week?
yeah, reveal it at the start of the
Okay.
stream next week
Okay.
because and if you want to make some more roots, I don't think anyone like if you think about like the structure of roots and where you want to naturally stress them, that will also really help because I don't want you to be like, oh, I made this word, it's like popoko, or and I'm like, no, you can't do that, Maddie.
But think how
It's
fun
set
that would
in
be for our
stone.
viewers.
Yeah, okay, so we'll leave it the cliffhanger there.
Very fun, such wow.
For everyone who like haven't seen the relay, go and watch it because it was like a lot of fun.
It
And
was
if you
so
have
fun.
seen it, then like comment on the videos because it will help other people see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep an eye out for the stream on Saturday. And is Let's Have a Boba streaming tomorrow?
Yep. If
Catch
my
the Let's
voice
Have a Boba
won't give
stream.
out.
Yeah.
I think today was fine, even though I know I sound coldy, but
you
yeah.
really don't sound that like I don't think
I
the cold comes
feel
across a
coldy.
lot.
I think it was the feeling more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Although I think your nose is a bit redder than mine.
Oh,
Slightly.
well,
Or
that's
is
because
it?
my piercing is angry.
Oh, okay.
It's mad at me right now, and I don't know why.
Because you had the audacity to go on a plane.
Honestly, that might be it. I don't know. It's upset.
Okay.
Cool.
Just watch my video then and tell me
Yeah.
that I was amazing and you loved it and you want to see more. That's
Yeah, exactly.
like
Just watch ours. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And you could just that
Zero
will give you a
context.
good show of how it changes. Like it'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to press the stop button, Maddie. Otherwise,
I
we'll
just
just chat.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.